We are here with the incredible Pam Hayes and her charity for military veterans who've been injured, the Armed Forces. And we were just talking about how her brain injury helped her lead her to her calling, which is to help veterans who have had similar injuries. And one of the therapies that I have never heard of, and it's amazing, and it's perfect for our show here today too, is you taught yourself or retaught yourself how to bake. How does baking correlate to helping you with your therapy for your brain injury?
Well, it's been a passion of mine since I was 19 years old. I made 5,000 plus cookies at Christmas time to give away, and I would love to do it. But after my brain injury, I couldn't bake anymore. So it was such a passion that I had that I said to myself, Pam, you have to learn to do it, because if you learn to do that, it might help you do more. And I wouldn't give it up.
And the skill sets are, first of all, determination is really the thread through everything that you've been through. Is your inner will is iron. Iron Pam Hayes. All right, so let's take a, we're going to make this. Is this beautiful cake here? And it's a mint chocolate ganache cake, chocolate cake?
Yes.
Okay. So as we start doing this, the skill sets that you needed to have for baking are really specific. So you were reading back to front, and you had to stop that. Or you can't, take it out of the oven is not the first step.
So I always say baking is not like stew. You just can't put it in there. You have to follow an order, and if you don't follow that order, you're in trouble.
Right. You will not have a cake at the end of it.
You're going to end up frosting a raw cake is basically what you're going to do.
That's the name of every week I come up with a new book title. Frosting a raw cake.
There you go. Maybe that'll be my baking book. Frosting a raw cake.
All right. So learning to follow a recipe was a basic thing that you had to retrain your brain to do. So let's talk about this recipe. What is this recipe we've got here, ingredient-wise?
Sure, it's an Andes mint cake, and what I've done is you have all the ingredients that you're supposed to have here, but to make it easier for me, I take the ingredients and actually, when it says in a large mixing bowl, whisk together, I list them again, because then I don't have to refer back to the top of a normal recipe where it lists how much.
I agree. That is sometimes confusing, even for,
especially if they say a cup of sugar, but you're only supposed to put half a cup of sugar.
Reserve some.
Yes,
you get past the thing, and you're like,
totally forget to reserve it, and then you have an extra sweet cake. So basically what we're doing here, pretty standard. I have everything measured out. So there's 2 cups of sugar that go here, and we have 1 3/4 cups of cake flour. I do use cake flour for cake, so I suggest it's not expensive, comes in a little box, you do that. And then it's that was the cake flour, and then 3/4 of a cup of cocoa, and I use a good cocoa. I try with baking to maybe not even use the best, but don't use maybe
the most generic.
Yes, the most generic, because you're not gonna eat this cake every day, or you're gonna have
now let me
problems.
we try to be healthy here, but this has a health component, which is you're really using your rehab, you're using your brain, you're forcing yourself to go through the recipe, but this is a sometimes food.
Right, and it's like everything else in life, it's about balance. So if you eat it every day, you're in trouble, So then we're going to add the baking soda and the baking powder and the salt. That was all mixed together there because TV, we're trying to do it all.
It's TV.
And I whisk this. I don't usually sift everything. So I whisk that until there's no white left and it's all kind of incorporated. And so now, I could remember this if I didn't have a brain injury.
That's okay.
And then
I can't, I don't.
And so then we add in the eggs, and I can do that right now if you'd like.
Sure.
So I don't usually do them over that though.
You just don't want those shells.
Because if you get shells, then you have to go picking. But if you do go picking, use your end of your shell, and it'll attach to it a lot quicker.
See, you learn these little tricks.
So we do this, and then we're not going to beat today because it's so loud. So we'll pretend we're beating, and I'll just do this. So you incorporate that, and then you have the sour cream. So that always makes the cake nice and moist and extra rich because, like I said, maybe a sliver, and then you go and you do some exercise classes after that, right?
We'll have Kimmy up in our third segment.
Yes,
she'll work off our cake.
Go see Kimmy, and she'll take this cake right off your hips. Okay. And, okay, so then we add, I have to refer back to this all the time. See, I can't remember much more than 2 things at a time like that.
Well, but then that's another thing to talk about is the process of the brain where 1 step, 2 step, the brain thinks of things in steps, and how many steps can you remember before you have to go back? And
absolutely, and also what it is, because I can remember stories of my veterans and their children and their name, all that, but I can't remember numbers or sequential things. Like if I
Okay.
tell you a story of a movie, we were just talking about movies, I will tell you parts of the story, but they probably won't be in order of the movie. So therefore, the great thing about that is that I watch the same movie over and over and over, and I'm
It's
pleasantly
Pam.
surprised. So it's kind of fun. My son, who actually has a brain injury also from sports, but he said to me, he said, "Oh, Mom, I wish my brain injury was that way so I could keep watching my favorite
You
movies."
have the most. You're like Dory from Finding Nemo. She has short-term.
Yes, I love Dory, and I love 50 First Dates. Don't even
That's
have
you.
one date, but I love 50 First Dates. So I forgot about preparing the pan. Imagine
That's
that, I
okay.
forgot something. So what you
You
want to do
do
is
that.
cut a circle out of parchment paper and put it in the bottom. Trust me, that'll make your life so much better.
That is a great tip. I do
Great
that at home
tip.
too.
And then you'll have 3 8-inch pans, and then you want to take a little butter and you just butter the sides of your pan. I think everybody's pretty familiar with that.
Right.
Okay, so we have all that mixed together. All right, and then believe it or not, we're going to add in a cup of boiling water. Now this is not
Oh.
boiling, so I'm not going to add it in because we might ruin this whole mess here.
Okay.
So, but you add a cup of boiling water, and then you beat that, and then what you want to do is make sure, then you chop up your Andes mints. That's the brand I use. So we'll pretend we're chopping these mints up, and I reserve 3.
Okay,
because I
'cause
just
you're gonna
put a
make them
few
pretty
the
on top.
Yeah. So here's your Andes mints all chopped up. They don't, we're not looking for perfection here. And you're going to be doing this with your mixer now, so you won't have this thing going on, okay?
Right.
So,
Mom, can I lick that? Sure. Go
Sure,
for it.
yeah.
Just,
Raw
there you
egg.
go, Kai.
Little raw egg never hurt anybody. We did it all those years, and I'm still
Rocky
alive.
Balboa was fine.
Okay, so then basically you have that, and you're going to pour it evenly. I don't measure, I eyeball it into my 3 8-inch pans.
And you need 3, okay.
Yes, you need 3, and then you bake it, for 23 minutes in a 350. And then what you're going to do is take it all out after it cools.
Okay.
And then you're going to start making the frosting, which again is the healthy 2 cups of butter
Oh boy.
and 6 cups of powdered sugar. I only add a half a teaspoon of extract, a little green food coloring, and you mix all that together. And then you put a crumb coat on with your knife, and you put it in the freezer, and then you make your ganache, which is simply a half or a cup of chocolate chips. You can make this for anything. And a cup of heavy cream heated on the stove, and then you pour the chocolate chips in and a little
And
vanilla.
we will have this recipe on fullplate.tv because I know it's hard to follow if you don't you have to see it. You have to see.
Oh, absolutely.
And we also will link to your charity because you can help. Even if you can't come to Dancing with the Military Stars, you can help.
Oh, yes.
Right?
There's all ways to
Donate.
help.
Okay.
Time, talent, resources. And, the proof of this is that the human spirit is strong, and you can do anything with the right help. And so that's what we offer our veterans. Help them keep their spirit strong and help.
Just love her. All right, thank you, Pam. When we come back, we are going to have a little yoga, beginner yoga, maybe some restorative yoga. Stay with us. That was great, Pam. That was great.
Well, I know it was hurried, but
No, it was good.
I hope perfect.